That was fun. Brian, how you feeling, man?
Oh man, I had to contain myself today.
From all the excitement?
Yeah, I mean it was just exhilarating.
It was.
Exhilarating.
It was fun for a little bit.
That first quarter was good.
Yeah. That was a real fun one quarter.
Yeah.
And then from there,
it just
it
got
got
worse.
way more exciting. It's all about perspective, right? Isn't that what they say about life? It's all about perspective.
I'm gonna hit you with a hot question off the top.
Oh,
You can't keep most of your staff after this game.
no,
Correct?
no. I think
I mean 90% of your staff is gone.
I think we kind of mentioned that. It's like the staff decisions hinge on what happens in this game 100%, because you can't, like, it is an age of where the storylines matter, and they're going to be all over him to make changes, because
You can't get rid of Rule.
you got to have
owe
some
90
scapegoats. You got to have some, you got to have some scapegoats. So, yeah, pretty pathetic. But I don't think, if you're Matt Rule, though, at the same time, like, you have to want to make those changes too. Like he has no, like, he can't feel good about the staff right now.
No, you can't.
No way he can
And
feel
his
good about
comment
it.
last week where he was like, I want some continuity, leads me to believe there won't be many changes.
Which is going to put a lot of pressure on him this offseason. He's going to have to try to answer for that. But I feel like, again, I think a lot hinged on the result of this game, and maybe he can stand up to it and try to come out and make excuses of why he doesn't need to make changes. But I'm sorry, but bad continuity is not something you want to continue. And he needs to be able to step back and assess. Like, he should be able, after a full year, and a few years with some of these guys, be able to step back and say, we're better off without this guy. We're better off with this guy, vice versa. But yeah, you can't go out there and again, just the old Nebraska kind of reared its head again. You can't come out here and just be like, yeah, we're gonna chalk it up and keep it as is. I got a Chihuahua currently screwing with my chair right now, so I apologize. My distractions here, but yeah, no, you got to make changes. This is just completely unacceptable on every level. So
They
Mike
had a
Ecker
good
is the
game
only
plan
one whose
offensively.
job's secure right now, I feel like.
Yeah. The game plan offensively I really liked early, featuring Emmett Johnson. It seemed like that was working the entire game. And then there'd be plays where we're still kind of a game. We were down 2 scores, and it's 2nd and 4. And they throw a deep pass to, I believe, Hunter on the left side. You're throwing from the right hash to the left sideline. It's a long throw. Even if it's a 5-yard throw, that's a long way to throw it. Bad decision. 3rd and 4, you throw it again. And you have an Emmett Johnson who's averaging 5+ yards a carry. That play made no sense to me. Then on the final drive, you get all the way down there featuring Emmett Johnson, which, again, that final drive was a disaster. You're down, 3 scores, and you're taking your time and you're huddling. And
I think they want it to be over.
Yeah.
I honestly just think they wanted to be over. And they were like, let's just kind of let this clock run down, and let's try to get a score here and maybe make another score to make the scoreboard look good. But and then of course, it's like a meme at this point, like the Harburg runs. It's like, something disastrous is going to happen, dude. Yeah. Even when it looks like there's open field and like there's a play to be made, it's just like he can't. Like, it's just, I don't know what it is. Like that first down, I don't even think we got that first down. Can you stop chewing my chair?
No,
Sorry.
that was short. They gave that, and also, but that run. What is he doing running straight at the guy? Like, try and stretch it out, make a decision, cut left, cut right. He ran right at the guy, and then he did the same thing on the goal line where he fumbled. Which, I don't know.
Yeah, the Harburg runs, we've been scratching our head at those for a long time. But yeah, kind of like you were talking about, the offensive game plan. Early we came out, and I like the game plan. Part of what killed the offensive game plan is the receivers have feet for hands throughout the game and cannot make catches, which is completely uncharacteristic of the entire reason we got Dane Key coming into this season. You know, he was a sure-handed guy, great route runner, and then, dude, I don't know what happened. Just like it's one of those things where he's just like he's not as reliable as he was previously, and he's got the same wide receiver coach he had before. You know, and that's the frustrating part of it is because there were many plays, 3 or 4, where he should have made the catch, and that honestly would have opened up a lot more for the offense. But this offense was just Emmett Johnson. And like at that point, as soon as we were making those drops, and then I think GJ started to kind of lose some of his confidence. And once he got his knee banged up, like he lost the one thing that was going to help him be able to make some plays out there. So
he had that beautiful throw to Quinn Clark early in the game. Should have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
Quinn dropped it. He had a couple that were just, you see really good throws, tight windows. And then you saw, and I think maybe what you talked about was him losing his confidence towards the end of the game when he had to make some big throws. He was just airmailing them. And you know, maybe part of that is because his plant foot or his plant knee, I guess, was kind of twisted up or whatever.
It's hard because you got.
But if there's any reason why you want Dylan to come back, you saw it, and you saw it in full display today. And yeah, you pay him a lot of money, but when you need to throw, you can't be throwing the ball 10 yards over the guys,
especially in the wind. Like, you know, you got a big body quarterback that needs to be able to zip it into the wind, and that's part of the reason Matt Rule talked about bringing Dylan Raiola in, you know, to this team, was a guy who can kind of throw it in the wind. And credit to Iowa, man, because they, you know, outside of like some terrible calls, but they made big time plays wherever they needed them. Every time there was a third down and they needed a big play, you know, they may not have made the first and second downs every single time, but every time they needed to make a big play, they stepped up and executed. And every time Nebraska needed a big play, we just fumbled the bag. Or
quite literally, we fumbled back-to-back punts.
Yeah, we would have been
freaking crazy. He had 2 fumbles on the same punt return.
Would have been better off with the first fumble. Stop. This dog is
irritating. And I know the targeting call on that muffed punt or muffed punt fumble thing by Ja'Cory, that was targeting. I don't think that's really a debatable question. Did it change the momentum of the game? Yeah, it did. But also, don't drop the damn punt. You're at the 8-yard line. Just call the fair catch and just get the ball and see what you can do offensively. To me, that it was a bad call, but also don't muff the damn punt.
Yeah, I don't know if it – here's my thing. It's hard to say because I don't know if it would have mattered just with how it seemed as soon as Iowa started getting success running Gronowski, that opened up their run game. And that has kind of been, you know, Nebraska's kryptonite all year. It seemed the first quarter we were doing a good job of kind of shutting them, you know, down the run game, forcing them to pass in the ball. But as soon as Gronowski started threatening the run, we had to kind of back off, and then their run game started to have success in that second half. You know, Gronowski came out, started running the ball right before half, and then in the second half they came out and Moulton just started running the rock for, you know, big chunk plays and stuff like that, and just they had a pure team effort, and their entire team was executing. And today it was just Emmett Johnson executing. It seemed just Nebraska loses the fight. Like it just seems again that Nebraska loses all ability to fight as soon as they get down on themselves. Like when it was an 8-point game, it still felt like it felt like Iowa had a 2-score lead when it was an 8-point game, you know?
Yeah. Which that goes to the end of the first half debacle again. Seems to be a trend with Coach Rule is they had what? Was it the 25 is what they started, if not mistaken? 30 maybe?
I think so. Something like that.
Throw it, run it, take your damn time, throw it. But between the second and third down, they ran a no huddle. Or no, they huddled and then ran it down. Why not call a timeout before that third down and say, hey, look, you know, this is the play call. And if we get it, this is the next call. If we don't get it, we're just going to, you know, burn the last few seconds with a kneel down, not giving the ball back. But it just seemed like there was no plan of action basically on that final drive. And I think with what they had 2 timeouts, 1 timeout, they needed to go maybe 55 yards in 40 seconds to get into field goal range. Certainly doable. And they look like they had no plan. at the end of the first half again, which is frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on the defensive side of the ball, it's just I can give a little bit of grace to the offense just because, again, I feel like if some of those receivers come down with some of those passes, it opens up a lot more. But with the defensive side of the ball, we cannot adjust to anything. There's no adjustments made. Like, we come out with a game plan, and then as soon as they break something out, like the quarterback run, we saw Jade Maava come out and start running the ball against us in that game late. There's no adjustments to be made or no adjustments made. And it's just we're getting out coached and outclassed on that side of the ball. And I've made many excuses for Butler because of the situation he was put in. But at the end of the day, like, coaching is coaching, and you judge a coach by his ability to make adjustments. And, we're this far into it, the full season into it, and it's the same exact problem. It's just like whatever game plan we come out with is the game plan we stick with, and we can't adjust to it. And I know what he says, like, you don't want to sell out to do this, that, and the third, but like, we weren't stopping anything there for a little bit. Like, they were doing anything they wanted. They were making crazy ass catches. Garnowski was running around. We can't complete a sack to save our life, even when we get pressure.
I think it was the second quarter. Yeah, the first quarter they had like 13 yards rushing. In the second quarter, you kind of saw their offense insert their will a little bit on Nebraska. They had 100 yards rushing in the second quarter alone. I don't know what they ended up with. I'm looking up the game stats right now. But it felt like from that second quarter on, Nebraska had zero answers for them. I think Iowa scored on every single drive in the first half minus their first possession. And then the second half, you get 2 stops. Of course, you screwed up and had a turnover. But then the same thing just ensued. It was just an ass beating. They're doing whatever they want when they want to you for the last, 35 minutes.
Yeah. So before we dive back in the game a little bit more, just a couple questions. What staff are you, like, in your perfect world, if they're to make some staff changes, staff adjustments, fire people, who do you want to go?
Well, since we're not part of the media, we can actually say names and not have to deal with losing press passes. So,
yeah,
I would say John Butler has to go. I know last week I said I'm not on that train yet, but his lack of ability to adjust to anything. At one point, this was the moment I was out.
Sorry,
you're good. It was third down from like the 5, maybe 6 yard line, and Iowa came out 5 offensive linemen and 1 tight end. So you had 6 blockers, and Nebraska had a 3-man front. And then they had 2 linebackers and a safety playing at the goal line, so which would have been 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. So you basically had a 3-man front versus 6 guys. And to me, that's like, what the hell are you doing? There's no reason to be in a 3-man front on first or third and goal from the 5 or 6 yard line. There should have been a 4-man front, even if you mug it, whatever. But you can't just have your second level be standing at the goal line. To me, that made no sense. I would say that, but to get back on topic, your entire defensive staff has to go except for Addison Williams. I think he's your best recruiter, but he's also, I think he's done a pretty good job developing that secondary. I'd say your offensive line coach is gone. Quarterback coach gone. Running back coach is debatable. I really like his development with Emmett Johnson. I also, his recruiting is fairly good. We'll see kind of next year after Emmett's gone what he does with Mosey, what he does with Mackay. But outside of that, you keep the Keel Shorts, and that's it. And Eckler, of course. So you're talking about 3 coaches, maybe 4. I think you need a complete overhaul. You're not seeing the development. Vincent Shavers, while is very good, I feel like did not progress year over year after a really good freshman year. Your jack position was so bad this year outside of Desan McCullough that Jordan Ochoa who started the year as your second stringer, doesn't play. Willis McGahee, he's probably going to the portal. And your backup was Dylan Rogers, who's been here for 3.5 years and is more of an inside linebacker than an edge rusher. Your linebacker room as a whole is not very good. I think they got a lot of young talent, Dawson Merritt, Christian Jones. But again, do you want to be in a position this time next year where you're relying on redshirt freshmen to take you home to 8 or 9 wins?
We're supposed to be past like relying on freshmen. That was early in the tenure. We're year 3 going in year 4. That's not what we need going into year 4, because then we're just in this developmental train where it's like, okay, like where's the finality? Where's the result here? And I think that's the most frustrating part, is just like, yeah, this team, for all intents and purposes, didn't take a jump. I think they had some more consistent moments, but I think the bad was still equally as bad. Like, just kind of like last week and today, like, it's just like a lot of teams you watch a lot of these games, you see a team down, 10 points, and, in a lot of college football games, you feel like they have an opportunity, and then you just feel like everything, as soon as the wind's taken out of Nebraska, like the defense, for instance, I feel like John Butler, as soon as he has to back the aggression off, like the defense loses every bit of edge and success that it has. Like it's aggression or nothing. And so like early in this game, we did come out aggressive. We're pressing, we're stacking the box, and it was successful. But then as soon as they got us out of that, and as soon as we have to back off, and pull people out of the box and try to defend in a different way, it's chalked up at that point. It's like, it seems like execution just falls by the wayside. As soon as we get any type of pressure, it seems like they're able to just kind of get out of it, and we lose contains. We're not able to break down and get sacks. Like that all starts with the coaching. And it's going to be really hard for him to excuse Butler's performance, especially these last couple weeks of the season. He had moments, yeah, but like, again, you go out there and you watch this game after game after game where, like, as any team that has a decent coach and a decent ability to make adjustments just out coaches us from the middle of the game usually on.
I'll make a point as to why I think you can't sell progress right now. And we've talked about this 2027 class that is phenomenal and can be phenomenal, but you have to show progress. If not, that whole class goes up in flames. This season, Nebraska played. These are the teams with winning records Nebraska has played. Cincinnati, win, 20-17. Michigan, loss. Minnesota, 18-point loss. Northwestern, who's 6-5 like Minnesota, you won 28-21. USC, loss. Penn State could end up with a winning record. I think they're 5-6, so they could end up 500. And you lost 37-10. Iowa, you lost 40-16. You beat one team with a winning record this year. So we throw out the Nebraska's record versus top 25 programs, Coach Rule's record versus top 25 programs. Let's look at just winning programs, and he's bombing. And he just signed an extension, and in those games combined, you gave up 77 points since signing his extension. Correct? That was before the Penn State game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
He can't win against average teams right now. So the 7 wins are fool's gold. I've been saying it all year. You beat a Cincinnati team who is pretty good. I'll give you that. You beat him in game 1 with a bunch of new imported talent.
Right. The wide receiver core was a whole bunch of transfers, and they really had no syncope with the quarterback early on. In that game, it was they were all out of sorts.
Yeah. So that's one fairly good win. Akron sucks. Houston Christian sucks. Michigan State's probably firing their coach, or they should. Maryland, for some reason, hasn't fired Michael Locksley. They suck. And Northwestern, who's Northwestern. Those are your wins. And UCLA, who was with an interim coach. Like, your 7 wins are garbage.
Yeah, Northwestern.
Let's be real. Sorry, go ahead.
No, Northwestern's crying because they got bowl eligible, their coach. Like, that's the type of, and we beat them by a touchdown.
Yeah. Like, to me, this isn't progress. This is, his record is right now worse than Mike Riley's. And Mike Riley got fired after year 3. But clearly you're not firing Rule. You just signed a huge extension. So you have to figure out what can we do in the meantime if he can't, if to hopefully get this thing back on the tracks? Because right now you're borderline derailing.
He's shown that he has the wherewithal to make changes as soon as they put pressure on him to get rid of Satterfield as the OC. He did. So will he give into the pressure, or will he kind of come in and defend his staff here? That's the biggest question. But I just don't think he can at this point, because I think that puts a lot of heat on his back. And if he wants to kind of alleviate some of that pressure, now not all of it, there's still going to be a ton. There's still going to be a lot of heat on him. Yeah, he's got to find some ways to make a lot of staff changes. And again, the strength coach, you got Eckler, and I like Dykell Shorts.
That wide receiver room's great.
I really like Addison Williams. But outside of that, yeah, everybody's on the table.
And I think part of the first 2 years' success with that defense, people forget, like, you had so much senior talent. And that's the difference, is like, if you look at our defense right now, how many of those guys are going to the NFL? Maybe like Sire Wright, and that's probably it.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a 3rd to 6th round pick for how good he is. But we don't have a disruptive defensive line. In fact, we have a non-existent.
We have the opposite. Like today, to stop the run, we were reliant on our second level run fits. Our line was still getting pushed back. Our D line was still getting pushed back a lot of those runs, even though we were making some stops. And then as soon as they were able to get some success and back that second level off to where we couldn't take a step down, then they started having more success. And again, that's like I'm saying, as soon as we lose that aggression, as soon as we lose that ability to be aggressive defensively, it's like we lose all ability to kind of, even then, if we can't even sell to stop the run. If we're off the ball, they're still getting 5-6 yards. So yeah, it's been a head scratcher this year to figure this team out. And I think we kind of, we saw it all season that just this team was not improving. And that's the hard part. That's where it's obvious that people got to go, because the development is in the coaching and the coaching is not. And game management, man, Matt Rule's still terrible at that.
Yeah, the end of
still had moments today where we're just terrible game management again. And that doesn't help matters.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, from a recruiting perspective, the way I look at it is like Devin Jackson made a surprise visit today. One of the top safeties in the country, committed to Oregon, teammates with Danny Odom, and Trey Taylor's their 7-on-7 quarterback. Like, clearly, and Nebraska has great relationships with him and his family. This is a borderline 5-star safety. How can you convince these players, like, we're going to develop you, and then you go out and get hammered by an anemic offense like Iowa? With coaching staff changes, you can bring guys with, and that is also something you have to legitimately consider for Coach Rule. Is, if I make this change, who can I get and who can they bring with?
Yeah,
because that's the reality of college football now. And right now, your 2026 has one defensive player committed, and that's Danny Odom, who's a 5-star, by the way, now. But you have one person that's committed that can come in and make a play consistently, probably for you next year.
Yep.
Maybe not a starter, but a rotational guy.
So your change has to be somebody, it has to be somewhat of a splash hire. It can't be it has to be somebody who gets these players fired up and excited to know that they're going to come up and be developed and be in the defense that they want to play in, So yeah, I think that's the rough part, though, is those guys are typically on programs, but yeah, you just can't stick with what you got at this point. How do you feel about Terry Braden?
Oh, I know he's probably going to be a really good recruiter, or pretty good. He was really close to Polden Valdenstone from Georgia. I just don't know, to be honest with you. Again, you look at what he did in Kansas City, but he wasn't the main guy. He wasn't the main D-line coach. Yep. And so that was like your selling point. That was our selling point. It was like, look at his success. Well, he wasn't the main coach for Chris Jones or George Karlaftis or all those defensive line, Frank Clark, that they had. So he doesn't have a proven track record of development. And he was a quarterback in college and coached DBs for like 5 years in Kansas City. So there's no track record of legitimate talent development.
Yep.
From Brigham. And last time he coached college was at like an HBCU like 10 years ago. So I'm kind of hit and miss. I think if you look at players who developed over the course of the season throughout the defensive line, I don't think you can name any of them. Name one. Maybe Pete Zach or Peter Zach, but that's about it. And that's a freshman.
I think they're going to buy him more time just because he's so new, potentially. And I think I think like the big, you got to start at the top of these units. You got to start looking at top down, not bottom up, because I'm sorry, the assistants make up a small part of this, but Butler makes up the biggest. And then I hate to call for Butler's firing, but after these last two games, something has to be done, especially if you want to maintain recruits and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. He's got to have a good reason to want to keep him on there.
And I'll add too. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. I'm pretty pissed off about this.
How do you feel? Today. Let's talk a little bit about the Raiola stuff. How do you feel about that whole situation?
I don't think he's leaving. CBS can blow me.
I know.
What player is not at least gauging their interest from other programs?
Yep.
Now, I will admit that I think there is something else going on with the Raiolas in Nebraska, that there is some friction. I think that's pretty well known at this point. But I don't think he's leaving, to be honest. He just broke his fibula.
Yeah,
that's a pretty major injury. I think you would be able to speak to that because of your background, but I don't know why he would leave. He said he came here to face adversity, because when you're in the NFL, you're going to face adversity, especially if you think he's going to be a top round pick. You're going to go to a really bad team. You're already in that situation.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's one of those things that grew legs. I just think it's a headline. Yeah, and it's an obvious headline. Like you said, it's just who isn't putting the feelers out, who isn't going to maximize their opportunities or try to maximize their opportunities or their offers or try to leverage more money, this, that, and the third. So, but yeah, after today's game, TJ Lateef, it's hard to put anything on him just because, again, he was making some throws and was on a bum leg. But I think you realize how valuable kind of Raiola is too at the same time. Because Raiola was just running for his life a lot of times with this offensive line still. And I just think he got a lot of disrespect like he has over the last couple years.
Yeah.
Let's dive into some of the comments here. Currently 4016. I'm typing, that was this is unacceptable, but will anything done be on with the defensive staff? My guess is no. Let's hope that's wrong. Huskers suck big time. True right now. This type of performance that gets people fired. It should. Piss poor program is beyond pathetic. I totally understand that feeling. We're shitty again. Yeah, we are right now. 3-year dump stealing money. Game could not have gone more poorly. I was right. 7-6 record, and you will lose a bowl game. Matt Rule sucks again. These are the people that kind of get on my nerves. It's just like, I was right. They want us to be bad so much so they can be right. It's the most.
I don't know how you can call yourself a fan and cheer for
the most
bad
brain dead idiots you'll ever see in your life. Yay, I was right. We suck. Like, okay, congratulations, you dumb idiot. How are we so unprepared these last two games? Coaching, lack of preparation. Yep. I don't know if this fan base will try to be crazy and spin this as positive, but I'm sure a group on Twitter will find a way these last 2 weeks are unacceptable. We're at the 30-minute mark, and I'm echoing. Get out.
Oh, I got my backup loaded.
Let's go. Poor coaching, period, without a doubt. Where was Hunter? Good question. He laid some good blocks, but wasn't involved as much as we need to. First time I've ever seen the stadium clear out halfway through the fourth. Husker Nation is done. You can't blame us.
That's something we'll have to talk about when we get through these comments.
Yeah, we will. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about it, and we'll finish going through.
I, for one, I've always said, like, the best way to enact change is to speak with your money and not with your mouths. And I think the best thing,
calling for the sellout streak to end.
Oh, I've been calling for that for years.
Yeah, I know.
I think the best way to make your voices heard is to stop showing up. And I'm not saying that to be mean or like everyone wants this program to be successful, but like at what point do you hit your breaking point? Like I'm not gonna go like when I lived in Kansas City, right? That's a 3-hour drive to Lincoln. That's gas money, that's food at the stadium, those are season ticket cost. That's gas money driving back, or it's staying at my family's house in Syracuse. And that's time and investment away from my own family to go support this program that sucks. Right. If I ever go to a game, which I assume I will, it's going to be a flight from Austin, Texas to Lincoln, Nebraska, or to Omaha, or to Kansas City to carpool with my dad on the way up. Like that's money and time I'm investing in this program. And I personally will not invest hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to go watch that.
Yeah, for me to go watch a game, it's like $1,000 for my dogs to go to daycare, flight out there, and then luckily I have a place to stay with my family, but some people don't,
Yeah.
tickets on top of that.
Hotel cost.
And then you got a bunch of fans that travel and follow the team and travel and support them and all that stuff, and it's a lot for them to put up with this same nonsense over and over. And then as soon as you get called out, like again, I mentioned this last week, but some of the passive aggressiveness a little bit from the staff that you get, it's kind of frustrating because it makes people feel like they're wrong for being critical of an obvious critique that we should be frustrated. We should be able to voice our frustration, and the staff should understand the reason why.
Yeah, this is to me, this is unacceptable, and
Without
you have to do something.
Without a doubt.
And as a fan base, you can't do anything other than stop.
Head's got to roll.
Yeah, because it's going to speak a lot louder when they show up to, they show up to a game. You just got boat raced by Penn State, and you show up to a big rivalry game at the end of the year, and the stadium's half full. Right? Like, I can't imagine that. Like, if you're an AD and you go, man, this stadium's half full, that's okay, right? No.
Exactly. Yep. One more, pathetic. Yep. Both Dana and Butler are stuck running Satterfield's and White's snow system. I think Dana leaves on his own accord.
That's a phenomenal point, by the way.
It is. It is. Very much so. Yeah. But one of the things, like, we don't need Dana to go. We need to keep Holgorsen.
He needs to run his system.
If this is truly going to be an NFL system like Matt Rule wants, where you have, I'm the CEO, you two are coaching your own units, then let them, let them do their thing. And if that loses us Holgorsen, then that's a big loss. I'm sorry. I like Dana a lot. I think he's one of the few that needs to stay. So I don't know how you feel about that, but
I want to give grace to Butler and Holgorsen, because that's why I said that comment was such a great point, because I know they're not running their systems. Like we've watched Dana at West Virginia and Houston, and we know that's not his offense we're seeing today. And I can't speak for Butler based on his time at Penn State, because he was there for like 2 years or 1 year as a defensive coordinator. But I have to imagine that he does not run the 3-3-5. Like if Rule said, "I'm going to let you run this
guy,"
right?
He had to learn the 3-3-5
exactly,
because the 3-3-5 is somewhat of a newer defense.
Yeah, and that's why it works so good under White, because he was a disciple. He played in it and he learned it from the man who invented it. Himself for years.
So
and
Dana
so
had to
that's
come
why
in and learn that, and keep the personnel from that, and then try to run it as well.
Yeah, I think Butler needs to go. But if he came to Coach Rule and said, "Look, I'm going to run this my way next year. If you're keeping me on staff, that would be fine with me. And we're going to switch to a 4-3, or we're going to switch to whatever." But let him do his thing.
He's coaching for his job. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one way. Why do they change QBs at the end of the game out of the blue? Who knows?
That's a question for Dana, which I still, again, that's one of those things, like, I don't know why you're doing this.
Yeah, again, like, we're asking the same questions here because it doesn't make a lot of sense. Do you blame the fans for leaving way early? No, not at all. I would have left too. Are you kidding me? It's freezing. Seemed at the end they just wanted to try and help EJ and Key's draft stock. Otherwise, the plays didn't make sense. Yeah, Key didn't do a lot to help his draft stock during the game.
No, he's slowly fallen.
TJ did have some really good throws. The Clark one in the end zone was one. Clark needs to come down with that without a doubt. Butler equals Diaco. I don't know if I go that far. That's crazy talk. He's not DR. I'm sorry, but the people claiming he's better. His last 2 games proved different. And I came on as soon as that UCLA game ended, and I was telling people to just hold your damn horses and let's see what he does against one of the worst defenses in the Big Ten in the country. Good game, I would agree. Staff spoke of keeping as much of the old schemes as they could, considering all the new faces. Staff on the team, well, that failed miserably. Who transfers declares for the draft after this awful finish to the season? That's
who transfers?
Yeah, that's going to be. We're throwing darts at a dartboard trying to guess who's out.
Yeah,
transfer wise. Next year will be a completely different team. I'm expecting a lot of starters to transfer against a lot of speculation, but we'll see. He could be right. Depends on how many coordinators leave. Let Braden get to work on the D-line of the portal. How about a stud linebacker coach with some players that want to follow him? Yeah, I think Braden might have the fact that he's just so young and new to this on his side too.
Yeah.
You talked about no adjustments being made. Are they scripting the whole game? It feels like it. It really does. Really feels like it.
Yeah.
Because they are a step behind. Every time the other offense adjusts, we are a step behind. And then as soon as we try to adjust, they're a step ahead again. Think Uncle Donnie's gone by Monday. That's
something in me tells me he's going to stick around.
That's such a tricky situation. I know that's my fear.
They're going to look at it and be like, "Oh, we only gave up 3 sacks the final 4 games. Oh, we were rushing the ball at will against Iowa." And they're going to spit it some way to be like, "Yeah, we saw enough progress." And I'm like, "But what about the previous 3.5 years?"
This is what I was thinking too, because the O-line had moments in the last few games of the season. Yeah. The O-line had moments in the last few games of the season, and that might be enough for them to be like, he's sticking around. And then with the whole Raiola situation, like that's the hard part about having the family dynamic of this, because like, do you risk that? You know what I'm saying? And it's sad that it's come to that, to like have to potentially keep a coach, to keep a player, but he's got a good point here. And this is kind of what I was thinking, like when the offensive line was like busting open some holes today and stuff like that.
That run blocking was phenomenal today.
It was.
But again, we have to look at the whole picture.
We have to look at what Raiola was dealing with in the pocket when we didn't have a quarterback with some legs too. When the defense didn't have to stay, when they were able to pin their ears back and come after a pocket quarterback, that still matters.
Even TJ with a bum knee was able to escape the pressure that was there today.
Mm-hmm. Can we stop penny pinching and buy a winning staff and team? This is Nebraska. This should never be a first big-time job place. Yeah, I agree. Rex Guthrie was lost today. Yeah, that one where they show in cover 2 and then he stepped down and then he backed back up and then stepped back down and then got caught on that. They were trying to get cute, show cover 2 and then kind of roll him down into that, and he just ended up walking right into that block. Guthrie had some bad moments over the course of these last couple games.
With him being a redshirt freshman, I'm more likely to not excuse mistakes, but those are learning opportunities. And in 2 or 3 years, or hopefully by next year, he's not making those mistakes.
He is a freshman.
Develop by playing.
Yes, 100%. And he has made some good plays. He just made some bad ones as well. But yeah, you got to look. If he was a senior, that would just be Gifford from last year.
Yeah, that's why Buford's not playing.
Yeah, we were lucky we had a soft schedule this year. Very true. There's a very realistic scenario where Nebraska doesn't have any starters with decent experience next year. Very realistic possibility that we don't even know who the QB for next year exists.
Yeah, it's entirely possible we have all new coordinators next year too.
A lot of possibilities.
I
agree. I don't know why we stopped pressing. Guthrie's out of place on one play, and after that, we just serving vanilla. Yeah, it was just because they were trying to show that cover 2. They were trying to show it and then roll it down into man coverage. I think it was cover 1. I'd have to look at the all 22, but it looked like they were rotating over to just kind of cover one man, and he kind of got picked by his own guy. So they had the perfect play design for that. 7 wins this year were very similar to the 7-0 run Riley's team went on in 2016. Where are all the Teefies? I want an apologies. The kid sucks. It's hard to blame him.
He's a redshirt freshman.
It's hard to blame
him.
A
break.
With a bum knee.
knee.
Need to go get some of these North Texas players. Now, I will agree that like people went a little crazy, because I came on the show and said that people were going a little crazy, like, oh my God, like after the UCLA game, we get a little high on their horses, but it's hard to blame him for anything. Yeah, it's hard to blame him for anything. Need to go get some of these North Texas players. I don't know if that's the answer. I thought Latif was so good though, huh? Mr. Can't Scheme relies on coaches. Unfortunately, coaches are washed and need to find an identity and build on that identity. We had no identity this year. Offensively or defensively? Offensively or defensively? Campbell and Eckler are great. Why can't we hire a great staff around them too? Great question. If we keep Dana, you got to put Sat's playbook in the trash. Yes, 100%. Does that require getting Sat off the staff completely? Maybe. I don't know.
Well, there's no way they can keep him.
No.
Even if you thought about keeping him, you'd have to be able to justify why, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like Carter Nelson's going into year 3 and he's playing 5 snaps a game. The fact that they didn't redshirt him his freshman year because he didn't want a redshirt shows how spineless they were in that situation. They have screwed that kid over 2 years of eligibility because they didn't want to redshirt him and let him develop behind the scenes.
You got Lindenmeyer completely underutilized in most cases. Let's see. I'm wondering if that's really why there's rumors of Raiola transferring. Did Rule make the call that they're changing schemes next year? I don't think that would lead to him transferring. It would have to be deeper than that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got rid of those already.
I'm trying to delete them.
I already got them. Already got rid of them. Yeah, I got rid of them earlier. No, I think it has to do with a few things. Hard schedule next year, QB battle, 1 year remaining for NFL eligibility. Yeah, exactly. And it's not a decision that's made. Again, it's just a headline right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but right now it's the same speculation that when he was going to Miami last year. Fire Terry, OMG. If anyone fires the D-line, can't line up right, get off blocks, wants to sit there, slaps the O-line. Can't recruit. We got to give him a chance to see if he can recruit.
It's going to be a big off season for him.
Yeah. Judy was incredibly slow off the ball and no changes. Yeah, I hear Bo Pelini is available for DC. I would love Bo Pelini to come back. You fire everyone besides Dana, Addison, Eckler, and Shorts. I can agree with that.
Yep.
I hear Rule say that we have great facilities. One more effing time, I'll puke. We're going to play in the Roto-Rooter Raw Sewage Bowl now. We might win it.
We're going to be in Vegas, though.
Put us in a bowl game that we're going to win against somebody who does not have a running quarterback. I want to stat.
We're going to be in Vegas versus Arizona State and Jeff Sims.
I want to stat you back.
He's going to look like a Heisman.
Yeah, bro. Latif had a bum leg. He battled through it. Yeah, he is a dog. It's hard to put anything on Latif. Raiola licking his chops at the fact he can say, look how I did with that team. I want 10 million. I usually go 2 to 3 games a year. Will not be going until we beat a top 25 team. You ain't ever going, old Dave. Is old Dave? Where's the other Dave?
Is the other Dave's alter ego.
Oh, yeah. Where's the other Dave at? No, I know. But maybe he's got old after this game. The other Dave is retired. Brian, drive up, just stop in DFW on your way. We'll party the way up and likely be pissed on the way home.
That works for me.
A solid third on Donovan's equity in the program. Decommitted last week. Another third is going to the portal. It's 1/3 left. We ain't impressed with. Move on. Just to beat down. True. If you knew Nebraska would go 7-5 the next 3 years, would you want to keep Rule like the next 3? No.
If you went 7-5 over the next 3 years, you wouldn't be able to make it to the third year.
Yeah, no. If he goes 7-5 over the next 2 years, yeah. No, hell no. If we're 7-5 repeatedly, no.
His quote today in his post-game presser, I had Twitter up for a second, and someone asked him about his record and selling progress or something, and he goes, is it where we want to be? No, but is it better than it was? Yes. How can you sit there and say this is better than it was? Just year over year, you lost 13-10 to Iowa last year, and you got boat raced out of the freaking stadium today.
We outplayed Iowa on the field last year. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Too. We
didn't outplay them this year.
We Nebraska'd it up. And today we got our ass beat and Nebraska'd it up.
Yeah.
Would Rule be able to justify $4 million for DR next year when these lines need a lot of help? Yes.
No.
To keep him?
Would not be able to justify it.
To keep him? For Dylan?
Well, I would take that 500 and go get a guard.
Well, everything starts with your quarterback. So, like, if it's a matter of keeping Dylan or losing him to go get your line, what do you?
This might be a debate here. Then
we might.
I would say take that money and go get a line. The reason my thought process is look what Iowa did with a bad.
No, my thing is, would they? Oh, I don't think they would. Yeah, I don't think they would. Should they is a different thing. Yeah, okay. So I kind of agree with you there. But would he know? I think 100%. And in a way, too, I still kind of disagree because I do think everything starts at the quarterback position. Well, everything starts at the trenches, of course, but you have to then really guarantee that you're going to go out and be able to land offensive linemen and that are going to, because if you spend $4 million on a line and then you don't hit and you lose your quarterback, that one's a hard one.
Yeah.
So that's a really good question though. I love Bo. Mostly I love Bo at home on his couch. These are the Daves. I know.
Iowa.
I would say we're better off than we were with Frost, but I don't think you can make that claim next year. Yeah, we're definitely better off than we were with Frost for sure. Yeah, that's not an argument. Now, if that's our comparison point, I don't want to hear it.
Then we're fucked.
TJ did a NIL a little favor today. Yes, again, it's hard to put much on him. But all right.
I think we'll see.
What's that?
I'll say I think what you'll see in this offseason, now that it's officially the offseason, you're going to see Nebraska renegotiate a lot of players down.
Yeah.
In an effort to move them out, to clear up money to go get whoever. They need game changers. They don't have anybody that can make a play right now. Other than Emmett.
Nope.
Offensively or defensively.
Yep. So we got a lot to talk about coming up here soon. So anything else on the game? Anything else before we wrap up?
No, I think we're good.
Yep, I agree. Shout out. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Wish was a little bit better on the Black Friday, but I hope everybody had a really good Thanksgiving with their family. My dogs are annoying the absolute crap out of me, so I'm going to go take them for a walk. But as usual, we appreciate everybody tuning in. You can follow Brian at KC Husker. Let me move this. You can follow me at _H-Town Husker, and then we will see y'all on our Tuesday live stream. Do you want to tell them who we got coming on for the signing day show?
Yeah, I guess we got a little bit of an announcement, kind of lost in the shuffle here. Friday, we will be doing a signing day edition of the Husker Gutter Call-In Show. So we will actually have recruits calling in. We have Jamal Rule, we have Luke Sorensen, and we have Rex Waterman joining the show. We'll get to talk to them about the recruiting process and then kind of their futures at Nebraska and what they're excited about, stuff like that. So we'll have a little bit of a signing day recap with those guests as well.
Don't ask them who needs to get fired. All right. You'll act like civilized adults. Okay. So, all righty. Well, again, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank y'all for joining us on the post games this year, and we will see y'all in the next video. Peace.